My chest hurt, tight and suffocating like a boulder pressing down on me. I struggled to breathe, thrashed around, and suddenly jolted awake.
Emily, don't be scared. I'm here. We're still alive.
I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. That's right, Jaden and I were visiting a village in the valley. On the way, a massive landslide happened, but luckily we had gotten off the bus before it hit.
Yeah, when Emily screamed that the bus was going to be caught in a landslide and started yelling to get off, I seriously thought she'd lost it. But right at that moment, I suddenly got a stomachache, so I had no choice but to get off with them. And you know what? Everything that happened after was exactly like in her dream. This is insane.
Blurry images flashed through my mind. I remembered telling Jaden about my dream, and we both decided to get off. So, the accident really did happen? I quickly grabbed my phone and checked the news. As expected, everything unfolded just like in my dream. The only difference was that Jaden, Lucas, and I had escaped the death trap. But since we survived the landslide, an eerie sense of unease clung to me, like cold, watchful eyes lurking in the shadows, like I was prey already, marked by a hunter. Once again, I woke up from a nightmare, my mind foggy. It's been almost a month since the accident, yet that nightmare keeps repeating every night.
Emily, you're awake? I asked Julia to make some salmon soup for you.
Since the accident, Jaden had always been by my side, taking care of me. As soon as I caught the fishy smell, my mind immediately connected it to the overwhelming stench of blood at the crash site. My stomach twisted, and I felt a wave of nausea. Seeing my reaction, Jaden quickly told the maid to take the soup away, then turned to me with concern.
Are you okay? Does your stomach hurt?
I don't know, but I have a bad feeling something has happened. Suddenly, my phone chimed. A message from a friend. He told me that Lucas was dead. Lucas was the only other survivor besides my husband and me. Could it be that death has started claiming its victims? Jaden, death is still watching us. He'll come and take us in the most painful way possible. Jaden tried to comfort me, but the unease inside me only grew stronger.
No one can escape my scythe.
The nightmares kept repeating, leaving me sleepless every night. My body was exhausted beyond limit.
Emily, come with me. I found a way to free you from these nightmares.
I had no idea what Jaden had planned, but I still followed him, an uneasy feeling growing inside me. Jaden led me to the basement, and the sight before me left me stunned. Julia, our housemaid, was lying unconscious, tied to a table. A sickening feeling crept into my gut. Jaden was about to do something insane. As if to confirm my fears, he suddenly placed a knife in my hand.
Emily, all we have to do is offer someone as a sacrifice to death. He will spare us and grant us the lifespan of the one we sacrifice.
Jaden, but that means we're murdering someone.
Don't be afraid, Emily. I've taken care of everything. Julia only has a brother with autism. He can't take care of himself. As long as we send him Julia's salary every month, no one will question her disappearance.
Jaden gripped my hand tightly and thrust the knife down. Hot blood splattered onto my face. I screamed in horror. I had become a murderer. I woke up in the middle of the night once again. Ever since we took Julia's life, I had been haunted by bloody visions of that horrifying night. Jaden, lying beside me, quickly woke up, his voice filled with concern. But I couldn't hear a thing. My ears were ringing. It seemed my body had reached its limit, worn down by guilt and endless sleepless nights. A sharp pain shot through my stomach. Jaden rushed me to the hospital in the middle of the night. We sped down the empty road when suddenly, the path ahead was blocked. It looked like the road was under maintenance. A deep sense of unease gripped my heart. I told Jaden to slow down and find another route.
Don't worry, I'll find another way.
But something felt wrong. Jaden tried to hit the brakes, but they weren't working. His frantic stomps did nothing. Right before my eyes, the brake pedal snapped off. Horrified, I looked ahead. The construction site was getting closer, but the car wasn't slowing down. We were about to crash into the workers. My heart stopped. I heard the tires screeching against the pavement, the car jerking violently as Jaden swerved. A deafening crash. The car finally came to a stop, but not before slamming into a construction truck. Giant steel rods tore through the cabin, impaling Jaden. Jaden! Jaden! Wake up! Someone help my husband! Jaden! I screamed desperately for help, but as my vision blurred and consciousness slipped away, only one thought echoed in my mind. Death would never let us go. When I woke up again, I was in a hospital bed. I screamed for my husband, but all I got in return was the doctor's cold, unwavering voice.
Ms. Emily, I'm sorry to inform you. Your husband didn't make it. But please, try to stay calm and take care of yourself, because you're not alone anymore.
I froze, my hands trembling as they moved to my stomach. Doctor, are you saying I'm pregnant?
Yes, you're 8 weeks along, but your body is severely weakened. The baby is fragile, and today, there have already been signs of a possible miscarriage. You need to rest.
My mind spiraled in confusion when suddenly, a cold light flashed across my face, sending a chill through my entire body. A male nurse barged into the room, gripping a razor-sharp knife.
Die, you monster!
Instinct kicked in. I threw a pillow at the crazed man, trying to defend myself. Who are you? I don't know you. Please calm down. You must have the wrong person.
Wrong person? You and your husband murdered Julia!
His words sent terror through my veins. Julia's death had been discovered. How did her brother find me? My head spun as a sharp pain ripped through my stomach. Hospital security rushed in, easily restraining the imposter, but even as they dragged him away, he didn't flinch. No fear, no pain, only curses spilling from his lips. The agony in my stomach grew unbearable. Blood poured from me. No, I can't lose Jaden's only child. Doctor, please, save my baby, I can't lose it. Darkness crept over me. With the last bit of strength I had, I prayed to death. Take me instead. Just let my baby live.
What about this one? Have you ever cheated on your partner?
Too tame.
How about, have you ever loved your best friend's lover?
Have you ever had a secret affair with a married person? Have you ever been paid for
I didn't think it was a bad idea at first. The producer approached me at the cafe where I worked part-time, offering me a chance to win up to $500,000 on the game show, The Moment of Truth. The rules were simple. Answer every question truthfully while hooked up to a polygraph. Truth equals money. I needed that money. It was my only chance to escape the suffocating weight of debt, to finally open the salon I'd dreamed of, and leave behind the dark corners of my life. So I said yes. The casting was straightforward, or so it seemed. I sat in a sterile room, wires strapped to my arms, the cold polygraph machine humming softly beside me. The questions ranged from mundane to slightly invasive.
Do you like your appearance? Have you ever lied to get out of trouble? Would you take $250 from a stranger if they dropped it?
I told the truth, and the machine validated me. The producer nodded approvingly after each response.
You're a natural,
he said, flashing a toothy smile that didn't reach his eyes. I should have noticed the smirk behind the camera lens when they told me I was selected. The condition: my boyfriend Brian had to come on the show as a guest. The day of the taping, Brian and I arrived at the brightly lit studio. The set was extravagant, pulsating spotlights, a live audience, and at the center, a sleek stage with 2 chairs under a spotlight. The host Beto radiated charisma. His smile was sharp, his voice hypnotic.
Welcome, Ruth.
Beto greeted me as I sat down. His tone dripped with mock kindness, but I was too focused on the prize to care. The first few questions were a breeze.
Have you ever had a nose job?
Yes.
Do you think being pretty is more important than being kind?
Yes. The crowd chuckled as I answered truthfully, and the money started piling up. $10,000, $25,000, $100,000. But then the questions turned personal.
Would you forgive Brian if he cheated on you?
I hesitated for a moment, looked at Brian. Honestly, Brian was just a motorcycle driver. If he had a more stable job, I think our relationship would be different. Even though I felt guilty toward Brian, I needed more. No. Brian's face fell. I tried to stammer an explanation, but Beto pressed on, his smile widening.
Would you leave Brian if someone better came along?
The studio went silent. My heart pounded. I hesitated, then whispered, "Yes." Brian's knuckles whitened as he gripped the armrest. The audience gasped and I felt the room closing in. I hope Brian will understand this situation. The questions kept coming, slicing deeper.
Do you really work at a call center?
No.
That's the truth. Do you work at a nightclub?
Yes.
That's the truth.
Brian's expression darkened with each revelation, but I kept going. I needed the money, but these questions made me uneasy. Surely they wouldn't ask about my real job, would they?
Have you ever accepted money for
The world seemed to tilt. My chest tightened and my thoughts spiraled in chaos. Should I tell the truth? Could I? I knew what this answer would mean, how it would follow me, how Peru, with its unforgiving gaze, would never see this with an open mind. The words clawed at my throat, desperate to escape, but fear anchored me in silence. "Yes," I whispered. Just twice. We were desperate. The room fell deathly quiet. Brian looked like he'd been punched in the gut. The audience's shock was palpable. I reached $250,000, enough to change my life. But Beto leaned forward, his eyes glinting with malice.
Do you want to continue, Ruth? One more round and you could triple your winnings.
The audience roared for me to stop.
It's not worth it.
Someone shouted. My gaze darted to Brian, whose face was a mask of anger and betrayal. I could feel the weight of the crowd's judgment pressing down on me. Tears streamed down my face as I sank to my knees in front of Brian. "I'm sorry. I just wanted a better life for us." Brian said nothing, his eyes cold. Beto's voice cut through the tension like a blade.
The truth is always illuminating. It will not do harm, even though it hurts.
A month later, the episode aired. It broke viewership records, but my life crumbled. Headlines branded me as Peru's worker. Strangers on the street sneered at me, and Brian left, calling me a disgrace. The prize money? It hadn't arrived. The producers claimed processing delays. Then, one evening, Brian called. His voice was icy.
"We need to talk, now."
I met him in our dimly lit apartment. His anger simmered just beneath the surface.
"You made me a joke. The whole world knows me as the guy who wasn't good enough for his girlfriend. They're calling me a green hat slave."
I didn't mean for this to happen. I just wanted to win.
"Win?"
He laughed bitterly.
"You've ruined both of us."
He demanded a share of the prize money. When I told him it hadn't come, he exploded, grabbing me by the neck. The room flickered, the lights stuttering. His grip tightened, and I felt the air leave my lungs. Then, in the darkness, I heard it. A chilling laugh. Beto's laugh.
Thank you for playing, Ruth. Your truth was worth telling.
Where's the truth, Mr. Beto?
Produce more news and articles about the sex workers missing, and don't forget to mention the moment of truth.
You probably know me.
or used to know me. The body positivity girl, the one who kept it real. People liked how thin I was, and praised me for listening to my body, while they were still struggling to accept theirs. Then they say I'm a fraud. They say my message is twisted, that I hide cruelty behind pastel filters and cheerful affirmations. But I've always been honest. Only eat when you're truly hungry. That was my mantra, my truth. It kept me disciplined, controlled, pure. But something has changed. One morning, I woke up to a mess in the kitchen. The fridge door was wide open, milk dripping down the shelves, half-eaten apples, protein bars torn from their wrappers and crumbled on the floor. My jaw tightened. I lived alone, and I hadn't touched any of that. Was someone in my apartment? The idea of an intruder terrified me. Someone watching me, entering while I slept. I couldn't sleep the next night, so I ordered a home security camera and set it up in the kitchen. The next morning, my stomach turned before I even looked at the footage. More crumbs. A banana peel in the sink. The smell of peanut butter lingering in the air. I opened the app and pressed play. What I saw made my blood run cold. It was me, stumbling into the kitchen at 3:12 a.m., barefoot, eyes open but empty. I looked, possessed. I grabbed whatever I could, cold chicken, spoonfuls of almond butter, even raw oats straight from the container. My mouth moved too fast, too wide. I chewed like I'd been starving for days. I didn't remember any of it. The next day, I threw away everything. Every snack, every spice, every emergency granola bar. I left only a single container with a carefully measured 300-calorie meal. That was enough. That was all I needed. I would not let my body betray me again. But it did. The next morning, I woke up with threads on my tongue. At first, I thought it was a bad dream, but my pillows were torn, foam and feathers scattered across the room. The edge of the sofa had bite marks. Actual bite marks. My teeth ached. My gums were bleeding. I watched the footage with shaking hands. There I was again, wandering the apartment. But this time, I didn't go to the kitchen. I tore through my closet, biting fabric, chewing on tank tops and socks. Then I turned to the couch, ripping at the seams, shoving stuffing into my mouth with terrifying hunger. I fell to the ground and dry heaved, but I couldn't stop watching. I called Jay, my boyfriend. I hadn't planned to tell him, but I was scared. I think I'm sleep eating. He came over that night, holding my trembling hands, promising,
"I'll stay with you. We'll get through this."
I slept beside him that night. For the first time in days, I felt safe. Until I woke up in a hospital bed. White lights, white sheets, white walls. Then the door opened. Jay wasn't there. One officer stepped inside. Behind him, a doctor with a clipboard and tired eyes.
"You're awake."
The officer said, "Where is he? Where's Jay?" They exchanged glances.
"We need to show you something."
It was night vision footage from Jay's phone. He must have been filming me to help figure out what was happening. The angle was shaky, but clear enough. I watched as I sat up in bed. Jay stirred, whispered something. I turned to him, then lunged. My limbs flailed, sharp and unnatural. My mouth latched onto his arm, tearing into flesh. He screamed, kicked, tried to run. I dragged him down. Blood. So much blood. He broke free and locked himself in the bathroom, phone still recording. He was crying, begging someone to come.
"Please, she's not herself."
I stopped watching. I couldn't breathe. No, that's not me. That's not me. But it was. They found him, alive, barely. He called the police, said I tried to eat him. Eat him. They placed me under psychiatric observation. Apparently, It's called nocturnal sleep-related eating disorder, but no one had ever seen a case like this. The doctor said the level of psychological suppression I'd maintained, denial of hunger, hatred of weakness, could have mutated my subconscious into something monstrous. That's why they keep me here now, strapped to a bed. No mirrors, no utensils. My meals are liquid, monitored, rationed. They don't want me to chew, but I still feel it. The need, the craving, not for food. I've tried screaming, reasoning. I tell them I'm better, that I've learned, that I'll eat real food now. I'll eat cake, I'll eat bread, I'll eat anything, please, just... But when the lights go off, it happens again. At night, the hunger takes over. The straps strain against my skin. My jaw clenches. My mouth waters. The nurses say I growl in my sleep. One of them swore they saw me smile while dreaming. I used to say, only eat when you're truly hungry. Now, I'm starving.
Look at that flower, once so vivid, so full of life. Now its petals hang limp, its colours fade. No matter how radiant it once was, it couldn't escape time, just like me. I used to be a beautiful young woman, the kind people turn to look at. But now I'm just an overweight middle-aged woman, my body weighed down by rolls of fat I can't hide. Every time I scroll through social media and see all those slim, glowing girls, jealousy creeps in. If only I could have my old body back. I had tried everything, fasting, diet pills, juice cleanses, but nothing ever seemed to work. Still, I refused to give up. Somewhere deep inside, I held on to the hope that there had to be a solution out there for someone like me. That night, I desperately searched online for weight loss products. By chance, I came across a video titled Joy's Weight Loss Secrets. She was a beauty influencer who had recently risen to fame.
Have you heard of the miracle drug Ozempic? No dieting, no workouts. Just a few injections and you'll lose weight even in your sleep.
My heart leapt with excitement. If a beauty influencer with millions of views like Joy was praising this product so confidently, then it had to be real. This was exactly what I'd been waiting for. I ordered the drug immediately through her link. The Ozempic showed up the next day. I didn't even hesitate. I injected it into my arm with trembling hope. Hope flooded my chest. This had to be the miracle I'd been waiting for. Soon all this stubborn fat would be gone, and I'd finally have the body I used to dream about. Lately, my body has been going through some noticeable changes. I stepped onto the scale, heart pounding, watching the number drop day by day. Ever since I started using Ozempic, I haven't felt hungry at all. My body feels lighter. The dull pain I feel every night is uncomfortable, but it's fine. It's just my body detoxing, like Joy mentioned in her video. I finally worked up the courage to try on my favorite old dress, and to my delight, it fit perfectly. I kept using Ozempic. Each injection hurt so much, but I endured it. I was terrified that if I stopped, everything would fall apart. No matter what, I had to maintain this slim figure. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my stomach. Like someone had twisted my insides, I collapsed onto the cold floor, my whole body trembling uncontrollably. My face began to itch, my skin swollen and blistered like it was reacting to something. When I touched it, the burning sensation made me wince. The mirror across the room reflected a stranger. My body was gaunt, my eyes sunken deep into their sockets. I looked like a walking skeleton. Before I could make sense of what was happening, my vision started to blur. I woke up in the hospital, tubes in my arms, wires on my chest. The doctor told me I'd gone into shock. The Ozempic I'd used was fake, laced with toxins.
You're lucky you came in when you did.
Otherwise, you might not have made it. I was stunned, unable to believe what I'd just heard. The drug I'd been using was fake.
You're retaining fluid. Your body's reacting. There's a chance you'll gain back all the weight and possibly more.
I looked down at my bloated, misshapen body, my skin stretched tight like it no longer belonged to me. It felt like a cruel joke. Everything I'd worked for, everything I'd trusted, all of it was Joy's lie. She had to pay for her lies. I returned to her page, flooding it with dozens of comments warning others. But there was no apology, no response from Joy. She blocked me, erased my comments, and shamelessly went back to posting ads for Ozempic with the same old lie. I was filled with rage and despair. But I didn't know how to reach her. Then one day I saw a post. Joy was going to do an outdoor photo shoot and fan meet. I couldn't remember how I'd gotten ready. All I knew was that I'd brought the vial of Ozempic.
It was a perfect shoot. I posed, smiled, spoke to a few fans while security lingered nearby. Then a woman approached me, her eyes tired and her smile uncertain.
I'm a big fan of yours.
I smiled back out of habit. But before I could process anything more, a sharp sting pierced my arm. I looked down. A needle. She'd injected me with something, then pulled away just as fast. I tried to call out, but my voice caught in my throat. Then came the pain. It started with a twitch in my arm, then a violent jerk. The tremor spread to my shoulder, my chest. I couldn't catch my breath. My limbs spasmed out of control. I stumbled, and the world spun. My skin felt tight, like it was shrinking, peeling back. I looked at my hands. Veins bulged like spiderwebs under glass. My skin dulled to a greyish hue, sagging and melting, as if I were collapsing from the inside out. In the blur of pain and horror, I remembered sitting in front of my ring light, streaming to thousands, maybe millions, holding that damn vial of Ozempic, saying all the things I was paid to say. I knew it was counterfeit. I read the reports. I saw the messages from people saying it made them sick. But the money was good. The followers kept climbing. As long as I looked good, I thought I could get away with anything.
This is the price of your lies.
Now my body was paying the price. It couldn't end like this. This had to be a nightmare. I had to wake up. I had to escape. You think you can mess with me that easily? Keep dreaming.
The weight of the ring on my finger feels like a shackle. My wife, sweet and kind, sleeps soundly beside me, her breathing steady, unaware of the cold emptiness in my heart. I stare at the window, my mind consumed by the dreams of him, Nosferatu. His presence haunts me, lurking in the edges of my vision, whispering to me in my sleep. His elongated fingers trace my skin in the dark recesses of my mind, leaving trails of ice and fire. I wake up trembling, gasping, craving something nameless and forbidden. Then came the letter. Herr Nock, my employer, has ordered me to travel to Transylvania to finalize a sale with Count Orlok. The townspeople recoil at the mention of his name. Superstition grips them, their whispers filled with fear. Yet deep within, I feel something else. Anticipation, as if I am meant to go to him. The journey is long, and as I cross into his domain, the world itself seems to change. The Carpathians loom like jagged teeth, and the wind howls like a chorus of lamenting souls. When I arrive at the castle, Its towering presence fills me with dread and longing. The carriage driver refuses to go further. I step alone into the shadows. He is waiting. Count Orlok, Nosferatu, is unlike anything I have ever seen. His gaunt frame, his hollow eyes, the way the candlelight barely clings to his form.
You have come,
he says, his voice dry as withered leaves. Dinner is served, though I barely touch it. My hands tremble. My skin prickles under his unblinking gaze. I am trying to keep up appearances, to act as though I am here only for business. Then, in a moment of clumsiness, my knife slips. A thin red line blossoms on my finger. Silence. Nosferatu moves with terrifying speed. His clawed hand clasps my wrist, lifting my bleeding finger to his lips. A shudder courses through me, not of fear, but of something deeper, something I dare not name. His tongue grazes my wound, and a dizzying euphoria crashes over me. The world distorts, the candlelight flickers, and my breath hitches. He looks at me with something unreadable, something ancient.
You are bound to me.
I don't resist. That night, he comes to me. The walls seem to pulse, the air thick with something unseen. He speaks of my pain, of the chains that bind me. He sees through the facade, through the forced smiles and silent suffering.
You have always belonged to the night.
He whispers, his lips grazing my chest. When his fangs pierce my skin, I do not scream. I wake in my chamber, my body feverish, my mind altered. The puncture wounds on my neck pulse with a dark hunger. I am no longer the man I was, but I must return. Back in Wisburg, I play the role of the dutiful husband. My wife watches me with quiet concern. She senses the shift in me. We argue. She pleads for me to hold her, to touch her the way a husband should. But I recoil. Every night I turn away from her, offering only silence in return. My hands are cold. My heart no longer beats the same. And at night, I hear his voice calling me, his shadow stretching long against my walls. Then, the plague comes. Death spreads through Wisburg like wildfire. The townsfolk whisper of a curse, of Nosferatu's wrath. They blame me. They claim I brought this darkness home. The sickness festers, leaving hollowed bodies and empty homes in its wake.
The vampire demands a sacrifice, a pure soul, untouched, to appease him.
They said to offer a virgin girl. A strange sensation rises within me, a mixture of discomfort and hope. I do not understand it, but it coils deep in my chest, tightening with every whispered word. The night of reckoning arrives. I stand before the window, shielding her from their condemning hands. Then, he comes. Nosferatu emerges from the shadows, towering, spectral. His eyes lock onto mine, unreadable, eternal. My wife clings to me, trembling, believing she is the one he wants. But he does not look at her. He looks at me. I stagger back, the realization slamming into my chest like ice. It was never her. It was always me. His clawed hand extends. An invitation. A promise.
Your passion is bound to me.
Terror and longing wage war within me. The life I knew, the mask I wore, the expectations that bound me, all of it unravels. I was never meant for this world. I was meant for him. And so, I step forward. Nosferatu's arms close around me, his embrace colder than death, and yet, I have never felt more alive. As dawn breaks over Wisburg, I vanish into the shadows, leaving behind only whispers of a love never meant to exist in the light.
Madame, his body is reaching its limit. If you wish to maintain your youth, we'll need other options.
Useless.
I never thought I would sell my soul for money. But when you're drowning in debt, morality becomes a luxury. A few months ago, I was just another struggling actor barely scraping by in a city that chews people up and spits them out. I was months behind on rent. Creditors hounded me and my stomach was almost always empty. I spent my nights rehearsing monologues I never got to perform, hoping for a breakthrough that never came. Then she came, Madame Jennifer, a star of the past, still dazzling, still powerful. I met her during a casting call. I didn't even get the role, but she had other plans for me. She invited me to dinner, proposed something outrageous.
Be mine.
She whispered over a glass of wine, her fingers cold against my wrist.
I'll give you everything.
I thought she was joking, but when she laid out the terms, weekly dates on Mondays, complete financial security, and a life of luxury, I said yes. Who wouldn't? It felt like fate, like my suffering had finally been rewarded. At first, it was perfect. She paid off my debts, dressed me in designer suits, took me to the most exclusive restaurants. I lived in a penthouse with a view of the entire city. It was intoxicating. Every Monday, I accompanied her to extravagant venues, art galleries, five-star hotels, opera houses. She always had a way of making me feel important, her arm linked with mine as if I were her equal. I ignored the whispers from the other guests, the lingering glances of curiosity and envy. But then, the medical exams started.
It's just routine,
she said, brushing my worries aside. Her private doctor, an eerie man with hollow eyes, asked the strangest questions about my diet, my health, my family history. He always took my blood, always smiling when he finished. I thought it was odd, but the money drowned out my concerns.
You're perfect,
he told me once. Jennifer's lips curled into a satisfied smile. That week she saw me 3 times instead of 1. I should have left then, but greed is a cruel thing. Then I noticed something terrifying. Jennifer was aging, not gradually but rapidly. The woman who had seemed in her 40s now looked like she was pushing 70. Her skin sagged, her voice grew weak, and her eyes, once sharp, became cloudy. It was as if she had aged decades overnight. I asked about it. She dismissed me.
Just stress, darling.
Then she stopped seeing me altogether. My calls went unanswered, my texts ignored. A week passed, then 2. I worried. Not for her, but for myself. If she abandoned me, my luxurious life would crumble. Then, one night, she sent a lavish dinner to my penthouse with a note. I'll be away for a bit. Enjoy. I indulged, too drunk on wine and pleasure to care. I slept deeply that night, but something was wrong. In the middle of the night, I awoke to a dull pain in my arm. My body felt sluggish, my limbs heavy. It felt like I was submerged in thick water, unable to move properly. Then I saw her. A decrepit old woman hovered over me, holding a syringe of blood. My scream caught in my throat as the shadows shifted. The more blood she took, the younger she became. Her wrinkles smoothed, her hunched form straightened. And then, I recognized her. Jennifer. I yanked the needle from my arm and bolted. My heart pounded as I stumbled toward the door. My vision swam, my body felt weak, but adrenaline pushed me forward. I could hear her breathing heavily behind me, the sound transforming from the ragged wheeze of an old woman to something stronger, something predatory.
You shouldn't have done that!
She hissed, her voice regaining its seductive lilt. Before I could reach the exit, something struck the back of my head. Darkness swallowed me whole. I woke up restrained in a sterile, dimly lit laboratory. The air was cold, filled with the hum of machines. Tubes were attached to me, siphoning my blood. My arms felt numb, my body cold. I turned my head, dizziness washing over me as I took in the horror around me. There were other tanks, other bodies, unconscious, hooked to machines just like me. Men. young and beautiful, lifelessly drained. How many had there been before me? How many more would there be after? Across the room, Jennifer stood before a mirror, radiant and youthful once more, admiring herself. Her skin glowed with vitality, her posture poised, her lips full of colour. It was as if she had been reborn. I struggled against the restraints, a choked sob escaping my lips. The fourth lines in my arms pulsed with a sickening rhythm, my life force flowing into her veins. My head swam, the edges of my vision blurring. She approached, her fingers brushing against my face. Cold. Too cold.
I was afraid for a moment. Afraid you wouldn't be the right fit. But you were perfect.
Her doctor appeared from the shadows, checking the monitors, nodding approvingly.
He still has enough to last another round.
My chest tightened. I wasn't dying. At least, not yet. They weren't done with me. Jennifer leaned in, her lips nearly touching my ear.
Don't worry. When I'm done, I'll find someone new.
As my vision darkened, I tried to scream, but my voice was already gone. The machine continued its work.
I married him quickly. We met exactly 100 days ago. A whirlwind romance, passionate and intoxicating. Gabe swept me off my feet with candlelit dinners, spontaneous weekend getaways, and whispered promises under the moonlight. Then, one evening, he got down on one knee. I should have been hesitant. We barely knew each other. But when he slipped the ring onto my finger, I said yes without a second thought. Now, here we were, floating in the middle of the ocean on a luxurious private yacht, basking in the glow of our honeymoon. Just the two of us. Gabe poured another glass of wine, his fingers grazing mine as he handed it over.
To us.
I smiled and clinked my glass against his. We talked for hours about dreams, childhood memories, random stories about life. His laughter was warm, his gaze full of love. Then, as the conversation lulled, he leaned in.
You know, we should talk about finances.
He said casually. I tilted my head. Why?
Well, we're married now. We should be open about everything, right?
That made sense. Couples should share everything. Bank accounts, properties, even insurance policies. Still, something about the way he asked made my stomach twist. He reached for my hand.
Do you have life insurance?
I hesitated, just for a second. Then, I answered, of course I did. I had a sizable policy from my job. A good one. Gabe pulled out his phone and looked up insurance details. His thumb traced slow, deliberate circles on my wrist.
That's a wise choice. I'd hate for anything to happen to you.
I laughed nervously, brushing it off. Love is trust, right? That night, I expected our first night together as husband and wife to be passionate. But after dinner, after another glass of wine, my eyelids grew unbearably heavy. I barely remembered climbing into bed. The gentle rocking of the yacht should have lulled me into a peaceful sleep. But instead, I felt like I was sinking. I could hear Gabe's voice in my ear.
Sleep tight, my love.
Then, nothing. I woke up groggy. My limbs were heavy, my head foggy, as if I had run a marathon in my sleep. Gabe was already up, preparing the diving gear.
Good morning, sleepyhead. Are you ready for our first dive together?
I hesitated. I had never gone diving before. The thought of being deep underwater, where the surface was just a distant shimmer, made me uneasy. But Gabe was so excited, and I wanted to be the wife he deserved. I guess, I said, forcing a smile. He beamed.
Don't worry, I'll be right behind you.
There was no diving instructor. No one else on board. Just us. Don't we have a diving instructor?
I wanted this moment to be just ours.
That should have made me feel special. Instead, I felt a strange, creeping sense of unease. But love is trust, right? As I turned away to change into my wetsuit, I caught a glimpse of Gabe out of the corner of my eye. He was messing with the oxygen tank. I froze. What are you doing? He glanced up, his expression smooth, calm.
Your tank had a leak. I'm switching it out for another one.
I nodded slowly. It made sense, didn't it? Maybe I was just overthinking things. The moment we plunged into the water, all my fears melted away. The world below was breathtaking. Schools of fish swirled around us in shimmering clouds. Coral reefs stretched endlessly, swaying gently with the current. It was like an alien world, untouched, silent, beautiful. Gabe swam beside me, watching me with a smile behind his mask. For the first time since waking up, I felt safe. Then, without warning, he reached behind me and unfastened my oxygen tank. It took me a second to realize what had happened. One moment, I was breathing. The next, nothing. Panic surged through me. I clawed at my regulator, desperate to shove it back into my mouth. But my fingers fumbled. My lungs screamed for air. Gabe just hovered there, watching me. Waiting. He wasn't going to save me. He had been planning this. I lunged at him, grabbing his wetsuit, my nails digging into his arms, but he twisted away faster than me, stronger. I kicked, trying to chase him, but my body was slowing down. Oxygen deprivation. Black spots bloomed in my vision. My arms felt like lead. Gabe was swimming backward, watching me struggle. His eyes held no love, no regret, just cold detachment. Then, he turned and swam away, fading light. I reached out for him, my fingers grazing the water where he had been. I kicked, I thrashed, I tried to move toward the surface, but I was sinking. I should have waited longer. I should have taken my time, should have questioned the man who loved me too fast, too intensely. But love makes us blind. The sunlight above me grew fainter, more distant. Gabe was gone, and I was alone.
The air was cool and damp as I adjusted my headlamp, the beam of light cutting through the darkness of Nutty Putty Cave. My brother Josh was a few feet behind me, his breathing steady but cautious. We'd been exploring caves together for years, but this one felt different. There was something about the way the walls seemed to close in, the way the shadows danced just beyond the reach of our lights, that made my skin crawl. Still, I pushed forward. I was John Jones, a seasoned cave explorer. Fear wasn't something I entertained.
John, you sure about this?
Josh called out, his voice echoing off the narrow walls.
This part of the cave isn't mapped. We could get lost.
I grinned over my shoulder. That's the point, isn't it? Adventure, discovery, all that. Come on, Josh. Live a little. He muttered something under his breath, but I didn't catch it. My attention was already fixed on a narrow crevice ahead, barely 18 inches wide. My heart raced. This had to be it. A passage no one had ever documented. The birth canal, they called it. I'd heard stories, rumors of its existence, and now here it was, waiting for me. I'm going in, I announced, already squeezing my body into the gap.
John, wait!
Josh's voice was sharp, panicked.
We don't know what's down there!
But I was already moving. the cold stone pressing against my chest and back. The passage was tighter than I expected, the walls scraping against my shoulders as I inched forward. My headlamp flickered, casting eerie shadows on the jagged rock. I could hear Josh shouting behind me, but his voice grew fainter with every inch I advanced. And then, suddenly, I couldn't move. Panic surged through me as I tried to twist my body, to push myself backward, but the walls were too close. I was stuck. My heart pounded in my chest as I struggled, my elbows scraping against the rock. The air felt thinner now, and I could feel the weight of the cave pressing down on me. "Josh!" I screamed, my voice echoing through the narrow passage. "Josh, I'm stuck!" There was no response. I twisted my head as far as I could, but all I could see was darkness. I tried my best to squeeze through this section. Just getting past this part would mean I could make it out. I had memorized the map by heart. And then, without warning, I slipped and fell straight down. It happened so fast. One moment I was wedged in place, and the next I was sliding downward, the rough stone tearing at my clothes and skin. I tried to grab onto something, anything, but there was nothing to hold onto. I tumbled deeper into the cave, my body twisting and turning until I came to a sudden, jarring stop. I was upside down, my legs pinned above me, my head dangling in the empty void below. The pain was immediate, a searing ache that radiated through my chest and shoulders. I tried to move, but my body wouldn't obey. I was trapped, completely immobilized. "Josh!" I screamed again, my voice hoarse and desperate. "Help me!" But there was no answer. The cave was silent, save for the sound of my own ragged breathing. I didn't know how long I hung there, suspended in the darkness, but with each passing moment, the reality of my situation became more and more clear. I was going to die here. As the hours dragged on, my mind began to play tricks on me. I saw flashes of light, heard whispers in the darkness. At first, I thought it was my imagination, but then I saw them. Shadows moving in the corners of my vision, figures standing just out of reach. One of them stepped closer, a man in a grey suit, his face obscured by the darkness. He didn't speak, didn't move, but I could feel his presence, cold and unyielding. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. They weren't just in my head, they were real. The voices faint and distant, but they seemed to be guiding me out of this place. And then, as if a curtain had been lifted, I saw them, dozens of them, their faces pale and gaunt, their eyes hollow. They were the ones who had come before me, the ones who had never left. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My body was numb, my limbs heavy and unresponsive. The figures closed in around me, their whispers growing louder, more urgent. They were waiting for me. I realized the truth. I was one of them now. The cave was sealed, the entrance buried under tons of rock. But in the darkness, I opened my eyes. The others were there, waiting for me, their faces twisted in silent agony. I joined them, my spirit bound to this place, just as theirs were. We were the guardians of Nutty Putty Cave, the ones who would wait in the shadows, watching, whispering, until the next adventurer came seeking the birth canal. And when they did, we would be ready. I'm Dakin, a hacker quietly working in the shadows of the deep web. My job is pretty straightforward. Break in, collect sensitive information about women I happen to see on trains, in supermarkets or on the streets, and sell it. That night, while I was uploading a few screenshots of stolen messages onto my deep web account, a customer placed an order. Their request was simple. Spy on the messages of any female student on the subway. I frowned. A strange request, but nothing too difficult for me. Putting on a pair of contact lenses with a hidden camera and a wide-brimmed hat to conceal my face, I stepped out of my apartment and got to work. At 4 p.m., I was on the subway. It wasn't rush hour yet, so the train wasn't too crowded. I quickly scanned the passengers. A short-haired schoolgirl sitting alone caught my eye. She was leaning against the door, her fingers flying across her phone screen. She was the perfect target for today. I pretended to be just another passenger and casually moved closer to her without raising any suspicion. She glanced at me briefly before going back to her texting. Feeling confident, I silently hoped I'd find something interesting to dig up today. It seemed like she was texting a boyfriend named Naga. At first, the messages were pretty ordinary, just small talk and some random complaints. But then the tone began to shift. The words started to change. I began to feel intrigued, waiting for something shady to show up. Strange words appeared. Handle, bury, grind, and finally the head. I held my breath, unable to look away. I was reading the messages of a killer. The next message shocked me to my core. It was a photo of the victim. For a moment, I was frozen in disbelief. Then it hit me. I knew the victim all too well. Months ago, a Telegram account named You hired me to gather every detail about this man. From the way she spoke, I could tell my client was a young woman, while the target was a married man. And now, he was dead. Had I indirectly sent him to his death? Lost in thought, I suddenly jolted back to reality when I noticed the girl had turned around, her eyes locked onto mine.
Stop snooping,
She said, her voice calm but chilling. I cowardly avoided her gaze, pretending I didn't know anything. I tried to act normal, but then her phone chimed with a new message. My curiosity got the better of me, and I stole another glance. The message was from her boyfriend. My heart nearly stopped. I realized I'd crossed a line, and now I was in the sights of two killers. The girl turned to me again, this time flashing a twisted, eerie smile.
Yes.
The blood in my veins turned to ice. I stumbled back, hitting the train door. Without wasting another second, I bolted, running toward the last car of the train. I thought I could escape. After getting back to my apartment, I locked the door. 3 layers of locks. I leaned against it, gasping for air, trying to calm myself. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was that You account again. They sent me a video. My hands froze as I stared at the screen, fear rising in my chest. But I couldn't fight my curiosity and tapped to open it. The video. It was me, running back to my apartment. They had been watching me. My hidden camera lenses. They hacked them. My heart raced. Then I heard it. The sound of my electronic lock. Someone was entering my passcode. Before I could react, the door was kicked hard. The locks I thought would protect me started to give way. Panicking, I ran toward the window, but just as I reached it, the glass shattered. Shards flew across the room. She walked in. Yuko, a knife strapped to her thigh, her cold, predatory eyes locking onto mine. I screamed, my voice cracking. "You're you! I gave you the information you wanted. We had a fair deal. Why are you after me?"
"Because you know too much."
Before I could react, Naga appeared behind me, grabbing my arms and pinning me in place. I struggled, yelling for help, but it was useless. Yuko stepped closer, her voice cold and even.
"I've discovered that handling someone is quite fun. And your deep web account, your client list, that's exactly what I need to hunt down my next victims.